So good morning, and thank you for joining us for Sales and Marketing Fry Talks in 2022. So every second Friday, we share insights, best practices, and anecdotes from technology companies. And as the new year has started, we decided to invite some of our best experts from the previous episodes. And today we have with us Olga Bakanova, who is a growth marketeer in Adifo Software in the Netherlands and Belgium. And we also have Andrei Burlutsky, who is the head of the marketing in the remind me, please, the name of the company, Code of
Master of Code.
Master of Code. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Thank you, Andre. And of course, we have Roland, my fellow business partner, who is always part of this show as well. And we decided to spend some time together discussing what are the key topics or key themes we need to consider for B2B marketing in 2022. And obviously, we will not be able to cover everything, but we have selected few topics what we will go and discuss deeper. And let me just introduce you these main topics. And first one, what I would like to propose for the discussion is about the alignment between sales and marketing. And according to different studies, and one of them is from Boston Consulting Group, that companies with the strong sales and marketing alignment, they achieve better results across main performance KPIs. If you look from the marketing and sales perspective, they have, for instance, up to 50% increase in the digital ROI. They have more than double increase in marketing-driven conversions, and so on and so forth. So there are obvious benefits for that. But how to really make it happen? Let's discuss it later today. Secondly, I think another topic what I would like to introduce is as well about moving from the pure lead generation, offering people like gated content and promoting it everywhere, to building longer time relationships based on the trust, based on the sort of community. And why so? Because competition for the audience is increasingly growing. We can see it everywhere because everyone now is trying to do something in digital, and it's not anymore enough to just provide some kind of piece of content or maybe some webinar or anything like that to the audience to make them sign up with you, right, into the relationships. And therefore, it's important really to take care of the quality of the content. And there are again some studies from LinkedIn and Edelman recently, which shows that about 70% of decision makers say that half of the content they have read is actually providing no value to them. So that means that it's super important really to think about how you can stand out with your content, how you can stand out with your activities, and increase the value what you are bringing. And last but not least, I think a topic for us to discuss today is about the marketing technologies and adoption of this among companies of any size. And I think rise of AI, rise of other technologies really provide a lot of opportunities. So why and how then these technologies can be used to benefit in 2020? So let's open up for the discussion, and I would like ask maybe Olga for your first opinion as the only lady in our show today.
Okay, thank you, Andrei. Thank you for inviting. First of all, I really would be happy to participate in this conversation. And hello, everyone. I would love to start with the following thought, that if you think all the trends or mainstreams you just mentioned, they're very much impacted by the new reality, they call it, right? We are living in, so it's uncertainty. The world is living for the last 2 years, and plus accelerated digital transformation, right? So all this new reality shaped new behavior of users, of buyers, right? They would love to be much more engaged digitally, right? Before they go for a sales decision, a purchase decision, they do extensive research themselves. Due to this fact, we need to create more personalized and more appealing content, what you just mentioned. So I would say that, the key impact to the trends is, these factors that I just mentioned. So, and we can start with first one, what was on your list is alignment between sales and marketing. And I think that it's not a groundbreaking, right? That it's really important that these two departments that there is alignment between these two departments, right? And you mentioned it yourself that definitely there is increased revenue and better wins rate. In terms of marketing, there's also improvement. If these two departments aligned, you have better campaign performance, you have better customer retention, because when we talk about alignment between sales and marketing, we shouldn't think only about the upper part of the funnel. It's actually goes, I would say, the entire funnel benefits if this two department works. Yeah.
I think in general, actually, sorry for jumping. I think in general, alignment for me means not just that some occasional meetings or something like that. It's about really taking joint responsibility of the entire funnel, like starting from the bottom of it, like generating and understanding what are the strategies to reach the certain audience. But it's also about have a process of reviewing the quality of the leads, jointly deciding what needs to be changed, and then jointly actually working on closing the sales as well.
Yeah, I would say, actually, to sum up what you just shared and what was shared by me, that the key benefit of sales and marketing alignment is improved communication on essential data and insights that both have, right, from different point of view. This will help you to better understand your prospects, your customers, to understand their unique needs. Keep in mind that sales team, they speak to their customers every day, right? They know the pain, they know what triggered them when they make decision to purchase your solution, your product. And this is something that marketing can't dismiss. And not only to think, okay, we have the common objectives, we talk to each other once a week, we estimate MQPs and etc., but also to talk to sales team to understand not only why we win, but also why do we lose, right? Because I talk to my sales team and I say, what was the reason we lost this tender? Can you please figure out? Because for us, it's also, a great insights which usually you can't gather with marketing approach.
Yeah. So Andrei, what do you think about the sales and marketing alignment? Do you see it also important in your area of the business?
Hello and good morning and good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, I actually agree absolutely with you. And the funny stuff is that sales and marketing alignment is a philosophical question, which is actually under discussion. I'm 15 years in IT. 15 years we're discussing the sales and marketing alignment. The one thing I would like to build on what you just said, Andres and Olga, is, and actually for our audience, is that sales doesn't mean only salespeople. It's also the departments, depends on the business you have, who can be engaged with building the additional channels, like who is developing new partnerships, for example. It's also sales engines, or maybe some other programs that you have. So everyone who somehow is bringing revenue to the company. And anyway, you need an alignment here. The only question is how you are doing that, right?
Yeah.
I love what you, Olga, said, that it's using insights from each other. And actually marketing here usually has more information than sales, because marketing in business is everywhere. Marketing has long hands and is like keeping hands on everything what's going on in the industry, in the business. That's why I even think, that there will be even fewer and fewer good marketers in the future, because I wouldn't say that the profession is dying, the job, but because
Yeah.
fewer people want to have such great knowledge, constantly study, and be 500% immersed into the work they do. This is marketers. That's why
Yeah.
alignment with sales just will make them stronger.
True.
Roland, I'm sure you have also some opinion on that.
Yes, and quite strong, in fact. I believe that actually for company founders or CEOs, one thing that they really need to get right is marketing sales alignment if they want to grow their company. And this is not too difficult thing. Like if you compare it to concept of quality in manufacturing company, right? It has been solved long time ago. How you check incoming information, how you exchange information, how you divide up work on assembly line in different steps, how you make sure that every step delivers the quality requirement that is required. And the same with marketing and sales alignment. It's not like a mysterious thing, but for many companies, it is indeed a serious internal change project. And change of that scope can only be pulled off if there is very clear commitment, very clear sponsors from the very top,
Yeah.
meaning founder or CEO must be the guy on whose agenda this thing really is. And I would say that practically, like if you ask me what's a good way to figure out about sales and marketing alignment, I would put it this way: if in your company you see that out of deals you close, less than 30% have been originated by marketing activities, then really it makes sense to dig into it and review activities and figure out if marketing and sales are working together, and if something that marketing solves are harvested by sales. Because in most cases there's mismatch, and it's not a simple problem.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think everything starts actually with the planning. And what I see that, of course, it very much depends on what segment you are looking after. But in general, most of companies working in B2B have to start considering, or have to start actually executing marketing on account-based approach, so-called, right? And here I mean not necessarily going after like a specific company as an account and working with them directly. Of course, if you are in very kind of enterprise type of business, it makes sense. But it's also about making much more segmentation efforts based on the insights what every one of you mentioned as an important factor, and understanding what are these accounts, what you want to work with, how to actually be relevant to them, what type of sales scenarios can work, and then build the programs related to these scenarios, related to the activities what you potentially can execute and activate these accounts. I think that is one first step everyone should start with in 2020, if not yet, just to sit together and jointly really look at your market and understand what are these different segments or different accounts and how do you want to activate them. Secondly, I think it's about really specializing, deeply specializing, and staying, generalist nowadays. It's very risky position to be at, I think, and you really need to understand what this value added content and other things what you can bring into the conversation with these potential customers based on their business, based on their industries, and so on and so forth. But for that, of course, you need a lot of insights, a lot of data, right? So there should be a system. How do you collect all that? What do you think, guys?
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
it's very challenging. I mean, we have different audience who is watching us right now.
Yes.
Small companies, medium companies, from big companies. And if you're a small company, it's pretty hard to be specialized in some specific topic from the industry, like retail, logistic, value chain and so on, and so on. So it's actually a question how they can survive here, how they can produce the
Let me
type.
disagree here. Let me disagree with you here. And I will give you an example. I will give you an example of really deep specialization. We, as a small company, we are specializing ourselves very specifically on certain like industries and sectors and so on. But I'm not talking about ourselves. I just we as a company also were looking for some piece of technology to kind of elevate our business, right? And surprisingly, actually, there are not many out there solutions which actually support specifically our need for running business. And same time, we found 2 vendors on the market which actually provide specific solution which consist of standard, let's say, functionalities, but it's put together and positioned that way that it supports businesses like ours, right? And it was really very specialized way how they do their market, how do they actually position themselves, how do they design and package the solution. But again, if you kind of look at the components, these are components what can be found on the market from very different vendors. But the thing is that they put it together under like positioning an umbrella for companies like ours, right? And for me, it was an obvious choice because I felt that, hey, these guys understand my business. They understand how I have to run business, and they provide tools what can support it. And these are not big companies. These are companies like which develop solution, and they maybe 20, 30, or maybe up to 50 people only, right? It's not like huge, corporations.
Yeah, and I would say, I would say that in general, IBM is, when I was thought and discussed IBM with my sales team, actually we came to the conclusion that IBM is a modern automated marketing approach of old way of sales. Right? Because it's actually pretty much the same thing. You prepare, because they described to me how, especially, we had people who already for many years in the business, and they say, yeah, before I made my cold call, I do this, I research in the account, I prepare the right messaging, right, ensure that it fits to their needs. And what IBM offers, it's actually a more scalable and more modern way to do the same thing, right? To make this first step, the first engagement with your prospect. And I also agree with Andres Yushchenko, because I have 2 Andres today, that it's really not about size of the company, but it's more about setup of the company, right? So there are like few requirements for IBM, like is your product is expensive, right? Because IBM is not an easy, it's complicated, and it's also expensive thing. So if your product to service cost is relatively high, if the sales process is quite long, if there is a requirement, if there is alignment between sales and marketing, this is something that we just discussed. Do you have the right content strategy in place, and do you have technology? So there is, I would say, much more complex consideration for IBM marketing versus size of the company. So I would consider different perspective, and I would say, okay, it's not for us. I'm now working in a very niche company, right? We have a very niche market, and I believe that IBM is the right approach for us, and it's something that we'll definitely pilot in the future. Coming future.
Let's ask our audience to put the comments under our stream. So maybe later on we can also review. To be interesting to know.
Yeah.
Not who is right, but
guys,
really
please share. What do you think about ABM or account-based marketing in your business? And secondly, specialization as such. Is it something you see, as an opportunity for you, or it's something which has some limitations? Yeah. Okay, so let's move on, I think, with our conversation. And the second topic we kind of mentioned is about moving from just pure lead generation to building the trust, building the community, and as a result, actually creating demand. What
Or
do you
how,
guys
with
think?
all of that we have discussed, how to generate leads? Does it brings to the lead generation, or what is the final outcome, right?
Yeah.
Well, I think thinking about brand and building a community really makes sense if a company is offering something that is like something that is involving really a long-term relationship. Because sometimes there are some technologies which are indeed solving some urgent problem, but they are relevant only at the point when you have that problem, right? You make a transaction, you buy technology, you keep on paying $49.99 every month, and that's it. You don't even expect community, you don't expect learning from them something, and so on. But from other hand, when it's complex solutions which require quite a lot of expertise to use, then certainly it makes sense to build community and keep relationship with those with your users, both existing and both prospective, right? Because typically in such cases you also have quite a lot of content to share and quite a lot of insights how to solve that specific problem. But generally, I would say that that building community, I mean, there's only so much place in any user's head, right? So and you building community is not a universal approach in all cases, but sometimes certainly it makes sense.
But you know, Roland, I think what is really important is having a shift in the mindset from purely going after, hey, I need spend this amount of marketing budget and bring that number of leads, to thinking like a bit more strategically and a bit more broader in terms of what I want to build as an audience for me, right? And what it means in terms of other possible metrics like engagement, like I don't know, the size of the audience, and also what is I think another important factor to look at is whether you create demand versus what you just only able to capture, right, on the market.
Absolutely. And actually, we have two great examples here. Just to confirm, I don't see any options to disagree right now. The first one is Apple. Not our story, but the community Apple has built around its products is a fantastic example why communities are working. Another example for me is a HubSpot.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a CRM, but what they did everything that junior, mid, or senior marketer needs for everyday job. And actually, this is how they created their gated content and do the webinars, PDF documents, etc., to bring finally you to use HubSpot, which is actually not cheap, right?
Not at all.
Can we take a step back, because community is not possible without trust, right? You established with your audience.
Yeah.
It's not possible with long-term relationship that you established. And I think before building community, you actually need to put your focus of your strategy in this aspect as well, because this goes through the entire again funnel, right? Building trust, because you have a loyal circle, you have audience outside of your local loyal circle, and you need to address both. Also keep in mind that what I said in the beginning, the user's behavior changed. We live in digital world nowadays. Another thing what impacts our marketing, complicates our marketing job, is the limitation of user data usage, right? We know less and less about our customers, like about our audience, and the let's say oxygen is being closed for us, right? So that's why it's really important to focus on trust, relationship, brand, be more personal with communication what you build, and then you will build community only in the circumstances when you have trust and relationship.
Yeah, I think what you need to turn around is basically the way how people consider you. If you come, and that is so common, we still see a lot of cases where company, hey, we will do a webinar, and we will immediately start calling these people who attended our webinar because we have a great offer, right? And that starting to become less and less effective. People just, don't want to buy or don't want to keep relationship with companies so aggressively trying to sell them. So instead, like example, what Andrei mentioned, like HubSpot is a great example for those who are in the marketing field, right? Every time when you need something, hey, these guys from the HubSpot, they definitely have something, whether it's a template, whether it's a guide, whether it's a just piece of advice, or whether it's a tool, right? You just have already in your mind them as a trusted advisor.
Mhm.
And at point when you will able to afford this solution, you will probably go and buy it, definitely. But otherwise, you will be advocating them anyway. So at any occasion, you will say, oh, these guys from HubSpot, they have something. If you are a marketer, you need to go and then, and that is actually how different is driving leads versus creating demand, because demand just comes from the people themselves. Roland.
Yes, I think HubSpot is a great example, but then we also need to take into account how large company they are. But certainly they are, I think, the best example of building community, because even as a marketer, when you are looking for some information, you're just Googling, one of the top results is something prepared by HubSpot. And I mean, real, they are,
but
doing
again,
excellent
I think
job.
Yeah, I can agree. Of course, you need some capacity to cover this type of coverage of the content and so on. But same time, there are so many different options how to do that, and you don't need to be necessarily as big as HubSpot. And there are some examples of smaller companies who still able to build the community around the topics what they actually own, right?
Mhm.
And
Yes.
it's more about the consistency of the execution and the mindset, whether you are just doing for generating this 10 or 20 leads now this week, or you are doing something to create value what actually will bring you back potential customers, right?
Yes, all agree, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Okay. I thought that maybe my internet connection has broken because everyone freezed, and I was not sure whether things are happening
We
or
don't
not.
move. We are not freezed. We don't move. We have some
Okay,
comments actually. By the way, while we were discussing the HubSpot particularly, so HubSpot is great. You only need to know what to inject and run. That's right. But this is coming to the execution, what the community should be about, what should be the main topic or activities, how you engage people, and how you run all that.
yeah, and I think this HubSpot is a good transition to the last topic we would like to cover today. It's about the technologies and use of the modern AI-based tools and everything else to scale and to kind of execute your marketing programs in 2022. Roland, what is your take on this?
Well, my take is very practical. Actually, in our business, we are doing competition analysis in multiple industries from time to time, and recently we have done industry analysis in few markets where we did the same work like 3 years ago, and I can say that things are changing extremely rapidly. And if let's say 2-3 years ago, competitors in the same industry, few of them had any content or automation, today picture has changed. Like almost everyone has lots of content, case studies, marketing automation, and so on. So, and I would say that if you don't really use marketing technologies or don't have content, really look around, see what your competitors are doing, because these things are here. We're not talking about future. Marketing content, marketing technologies, and artificial intelligence. That is today. Future is today.
Yeah, don't become a past, right? So,
Yes.
Andrei, as you're part of the modern technology kind of solution company, so how do you see yourself? Like AI, is it already has reached certain level that it can really replace some of the human kind of activities, or it's still something which is going to be used more as enhancement?
It's a rise of machine. Actually, when we were preparing together with you for this live stream, Olga has mentioned and was very right saying that we are not actually talking about AI as it is. We are talking about the available MarTech technologies that can be utilized on the same level like Skype, Zoom, etc. So it's the same. It's tools not for communication but for marketers, and this is helps not actually my. I have two views here. The first one, we started with account-based marketing, and there are some tools that are helping you to identify your potential customers, to target individually or personalize your advertising directly to the person you are targeting to. It's not cheap, that's for sure, but you should be aware that such technology exists, and as soon as your deal size will be like around 50 to 10K dollars, so you can easily go for this personalized advertising to the 5 people in General Electrics. What I'm thinking about right now, that the amount of job that marketing is doing right now is growing tremendously. I mean, internally. SEO optimization, content creation, research and analytics, etc. And there are so many tools available right now that you can use for faster SEO articles creation, or analyze or generate more creative ideas of your topics for the articles, or titles for advertising, even for visuals, etc. This is what I'm talking about. And if you will look, even if our audience, those who are online, if you will look through in your local markets, and you Google like what kind of companies exist in your market that represent MarTech industry, you will be surprised how many of them can help you internally to optimize processes and make your job, well, not easier, but really faster.
More productive, probably.
Well, yeah, I wanted to replace the word productive, but yes, that's right. Productive.
But same time, I personally somehow also believe that you have to be also very selective and very careful about what exactly your technology stack
you are using,
and what, because there are two, I think, kind of risks what you can face. One is that you start to overpay a lot. You just have so many different tools. It's hard to manage, and you need to really dedicate a separate resource for that to manage all that. But secondly, I think it's also requires a lot of knowledge and competency to just simply use them in proper way. And I think if again look from very practical perspective, there are certain let's say basics what you need to be covered in 2022, and if not, you are in big troubles, right? First of all, that is what Roland mentioned, is marketing automation. And I still see a lot of companies who are like doing stuff manually, right? And nothing wrong with that. You can still like send emails manually to your customer list or something like that. But it's more just it's more than just sending something, right? It's about having a central hub where you have incoming and outcoming activities, and you able to get insights out of that. I think that's the main purpose of the marketing automation. And of course, all behind, you can automate a lot of processes and avoid like manual work and scale much better and much faster. That's I think one thing. Another is about this targeting and lead acquisition, what you, Andre, mentioned. Like there are some certain technologies which helps you, especially if you already have like a good amount of incoming traffic, for instance. There are good tools which allows you to identify some hot leads, potential leads from your audience, what you maybe don't notice or don't know, right? So that is another layer of technology what I would definitely recommend considering for using in 2022. And of course, then it's all about some productivity tools, like how do you organize your processes internally, right? And that's maybe not directly related to the marketing technology, but it's still very much important for you being effective and efficient, probably as a team or as an individual within your function?
Andreas, I think it's related to marketing very much, because the amount of activities, tools, etc., which disrupts your focus. There are so much things around, so you can really easily lose your focus. In order to keep being focused, you need some tools. For example, Asana and a different one, and it helps you to be very much focused. That's why it's very much marketing tool, considering how many things marketing can be refocused or lose the focus.
Absolutely. So as time is running, guys, I just wanted to ask if you have any final thought, what you would like to share before we conclude the today's session. Olga, anything from your side?
Yeah, I would say be empathetic as a marketeer, because again, we need to understand our customers, our audience more than ever before. Try to stand out with your content. Try to offer to your audience something which is really brings value to them. And again, I think empathy should be a motto of this year for marketeers.
Yeah. And I would add the only one thing, because we mentioned it actually, but I really bet it will fly very much in this year and in the next year, is the personal brand and the brand of the company. So it helps as well to build the community, to build the trust, and at the end of the day, to generate leads and really grow the business. So be brave in that.
And I would say back to basics. First thing, make sure marketing and sales is aligned. And then all the technologies, artificial intelligence, they will be superpowers real for your company. But first of all, make sure people work together.
I absolutely agree. I think the main, for me, task for the marketeers this year is about really making sure that you have a very realistic plan, but more importantly, you have capacity to execute the plan. And for that, you need to involve everyone. Would it be an internal team, like from the sales, from somewhere else, or maybe leveraging external resources? Because otherwise you will be just always lagging behind. And that is what I wish you all, guys, to be in the front of the crowd and be very, very successful in 2022 with your marketing execution. Thank you all for joining. Thank you, Olga. Thank you, Andrei. Thank you, Roland, for sharing your insights and opinions. I'm looking forward for our next discussions. And as usually, in 2 weeks, we will be back again into the live. Otherwise, we just invite you to follow Fry Talks through the hashtag on LinkedIn, or following our company, ibd-consulting. And you can always subscribe to the podcast version of the same live events on major podcast platforms. So thanks again. Wish you a great rest of the Friday, and see you back in a couple of weeks.
Thank you. A lot of success in 2022.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye, guys.